I didn't do a shift recap on Wednesday and Thursday of last week because on Wednesday I walked into a patient's room, and so one of the scariest things in my life was this person in distress, a difficult time to breathe. After getting feedback on the things that I did or what happened, like you in the ED, it's I've gone away from this is so and so's fault to like these are the things that happened that resulted in this. I've done my first full month of 13 shifts, 12-hour shifts, and what I've learned is so I'm a lot more comfortable now than I was in the beginning, which makes sense because repetition. The biggest struggle that I face working in the ED is time management and prioritization. Everyone that comes into the ED doesn't have the same acuity level, which means you're not going to be spending the same amount of time or doing the same things with each patient. What I learned from that scary situation on Wednesday was categorize each patient on acuity level and spending more time doing more check-ins with those patients. Aside from personal things getting in my head and making me have a shitty Wednesday, that was the cherry on top. And that was the one that made me question everything and just be thankful that my patient is still alive. My patient finally got admitted upstairs later that day. And it was a learning moment versus it being a disciplinary moment. Thursday was education and finishing the rest of the shift downstairs. I think I have the best nursing educator in New York. And what we focused on that day was running a code or documenting a code in Epic. The more exposure I can have to these certain situations, the less I will be reacting to things and more anticipating things. And I'll be able to be a asset instead of being a liability. You know what's also what's crazy is like when I do these videos and I just talk, I'm very calm and very chill. And if you work with me, or if you know me in real life, I am anything but calm and chill. I make things that are not stressful, and I come in feeling overwhelmed. And I have one speed at work: go. And another thing I would say, if there's advice that I could have given myself before I started my first month of 12-hour shifts, is to do one thing right at a time. You have X amount of patients, you have so many orders to acknowledge and do, but all of that can't get done at the same time. So just take your time. The patients aren't going anywhere, and there will always be things to do. So stop trying to cram as many tasks as you can do in a short amount of time, and just take your time. You will naturally find your flow. You're going to learn from your preceptor. You're going to learn from other nurses. You're going to learn from the doctors, from the PCAs, even from the patients, right? It's just talking to more people, asking more questions, which I already do. What I struggle with is spending too much time in a patient's room, asking questions, talking to them, blah, 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 when it should be more like this is a service where I'm like, we're in and out because it's emergency, it's fast paced. I don't have med surge time to talk over everything that's going on with you. Plus, I'm the nurse. I'm not the doctor. I'm not the one who's doing any diagnosing. I'm the one who's assessing, making sure interventions are being done, providing some education, and above all, providing comfort. Because it is probably the worst day of your life being in the ED. And for me, I need to be quicker. That will come with time. Also, go for the AC. So as a nurse, I know how nurses in other departments will complain when they get our patients. Oh, it's in the AC. This is hard. Can't you find anywhere else? And so I would try to find anywhere on the forearm, sometimes the hand, instead of going for the AC, because I was trying to make somebody else's life easier. When in turn, that's also making my life harder, because not the AC is the easiest one, and not every patient that I get is going to be admitted. So instead of trying to be different or trying to be special and finding and looking for the forearm, looking for veins in places that a skilled nurse would be good at, I need to look in places that are easy for a new grad nurse to get IVs into veins. Currently, today is day 4 of having off and not having anything to do, not even going to train clients, and I feel good. I feel well rested. And also the hardest part, the next hardest part is meal prepping sticking to that budget, developing a budget, because the amount of Ubers that I've called in the past month is insane just because I know I can't. I know I have the money and I know what's coming in on a regular basis. So my financial goals this year is to reduce debt as much as possible. And that's not possible if I'm frivolously spending on Uber transportations when I could just wake up earlier, lose a little bit of sleep, but get to work with enough time that I don't have to rely on calling Ubers. Oh, and another thing is writing things down or document things that you learn or do on a daily basis so that the next time you come, things stick. Meaning, Google Docs came up with something new. And I use Notion for the most part now, and I wish that Notion was accessible at work, but it's not because it's blocked off. Anyway, they have these document tabs, and what I've been doing is, so this is hospital department numbers that we usually call, and it's just easy for me to just find, call, boom, done. The next thing is going to be our workflow, Epic workflow, right? So you're sign into Epic, assign yourself to patients, da da da. So this is the flow of how most things are going to go in the ED. And then if a patient is admitted upstairs, I'm still working on this, right? You're doing a disposition, you're writing these notes, admission note, departure note, you're getting hospital transport. And then on the ED manager screen, you find the patient and you move to in transit. So these are things that, like, as I do, I will write it down and document so that I know for the next time I don't have to ask the same question. And this can be for like new nurses. One day I'll be a preceptor or an educator, and then I'll be helping new nurses understand the flow of things. So we're on to month 2 and excited for everything that's to come. 13 shifts down, another 13 to go.